Between this video and this video, it appears to me that Charli isn't only well connected, but is equally well liked, even though she isn't quote-unquote mainstream. Which I would argue that she is in fact mainstream if she's popular in the US and she's from the UK. Anyway, I can certainly understand the appeal of wanting to be mainstream, but that comes with its own set of problems, including bandwagoners who don't like your music for real. They are just there because you are popular and are waiting for your downfall, much like on YouTube. Can I just say how thankful I am that no artist that I listen to or know of has dropped any albums in July as of yet, except maybe Eminem, but I haven't listened to him since I was in high school because I needed a break, which we haven't gotten since March, with the constant barrage of new albums dropping from big name artists. I mean, I'm not forced to listen to these albums or anything, but I want to, and I also want to do my commentary on them, and when there are so many, the overwhelm is real, which is something I did not experience listening to BRAT. Overwhelm, that is. This was my first Charli album I listened to in its entirety. I otherwise have heard her music in shopping outlets or bar restaurants. In fact, my first official encounter, if you will, with her music was in 2014 with Iggy Azalea's Fancy. She literally carried the song, although she was a feature. Every other song I've heard her in is usually high energy, radiating confidence and party vibes. Or rage-filled like Iconopop's I Love It, which came out in 2013, but I didn't know she was featured on it until much later, because I was outside in 2013. In other words, I would hear songs on the radio, like the songs, but not know who is singing them until the Shazam app. One thing I do not necessarily associate with Charli's music is vulnerability, but that was different with BRAT. Charli strikes me as the friend you always want around when there's a party because she's down for a good time, but she's also that friend that needs to be checked on to make sure she's alright, as I found out in a few tracks, which I'm getting around to. This album was a breath of fresh air. Just what I needed after listening to albums where I needed to pay close attention to the lyrics and read in between the lines. I listened to the album on my drive to work, What Else Is New, and it was such a vibe. But just because I would classify BRAT as a casual listen doesn't diminish her artistry. In other words, just because it was a fun, easy listen doesn't mean time and effort wasn't spent on it. It's not easy to make hits. If it were, everyone would be making them. And BRAT has quite a few hits, in my opinion, and according to Billboard. BRAT debuted at number 3 on Billboard 200, which, as I mentioned earlier, for a UK artist, is exceptional. She definitely came in strong with Von Dutch, the first single, which is hands down my favorite track on the album, along with Sympathy is a Knife, Back to Back, Mean Girls, Hello Goodbye, and Rewind. Sympathy is a Knife is the first track in which she begins sharing some insecurities. Again, she doesn't necessarily have to be talking about herself, but I find that songwriters generally pull from experience. Back to Back is repetitive, almost like she's trying to convince herself to close that chapter with her ex for good. It's addictive. Mean Girls mirrors Olivia Rodrigo's All-American Bitch, in that a particular internet aesthetic is being described. She goes, yeah, it's 2 a.m. and she's out there in the sheer white dress wearing last night's makeup, all coquettish in the pictures with the flash on. Worships Lana Del Rey in her AirPods. Yeah, she's in her mid-20s, real intelligent, hedonistic with the gravel, draw and dead eyes. You said she's anorexic and you heard she likes when people say it. Think you already know her, but don't. Something about the beat of this song reminds me of Rihanna's S&M. Just listen.
Na 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 na, come on. Na na na, come on. This one's for all my mean girls. This one's for all my bad girls.
Hello Goodbye. Wanting something or someone so bad, When it's in your face, you freak out and run the opposite direction and then regret it later. This is so real on so many levels. Reminds me of Miley Cyrus's See You Again. Same exact feelings are being expressed. By the way, sidebar, I rewatched the last song with Miley and her now ex-husband the other day and cried. That movie always makes me cry. Well, the ending of it. Simultaneously, I found myself wanting that meet cute with my person. That's the hopeless romantic in me. The rational side of me keeps reminding me that stuff only happens in movies. You know, how Will bumps into Ronnie and spills her milkshake all over her, and then suddenly they are in love a few weeks later. Anyway, back to Charli and Rewind. First off, the song kinda sounds like 360. But where 360 is in your face, like yeah, you'll be watching me because I am that bitch, Rewind is about nostalgia, going back to a simpler time when she wasn't worried about her weight, her looks, or whether or not she should be a bigger artist. Again, I think she's commercial. Okay, perhaps NBC or ABC won't talk about her the way they would do about Taylor Swift, but people who know that Charli is iconic.
Looking like an icon.
Other standout songs are Girl So Confusing, I Think About It All the Time, I Might Say Something Stupid. Girl So Confusing is not cryptic at all, which doesn't surprise me and is so refreshing. Leos are very sensitive, but Leos are also very direct. And that's why I love Leos and I get along with them. They have big personalities and they are funny and fun to be around. Anyway, Charli's obviously talking about someone she's always being compared to, which people have said it's Lorde. I guess the reference to Lorde's team give it away in this verse. You're all about writing poems, but I'm about throwing parties. Think you should come to my party and put your hands up. I think we're totally different, but opposites attract. Maybe we're so meant to be, just you and me. And then in Lorde's team, she says this, I'm kind of over getting told to throw my hands up in the air. So there. This is actually the first time I'm hearing about the two being compared or pitted against each other. First of all, they look nothing alike. They both have dark hair, as Charli mentions in the song. They are both of mixed ethnicities. Charli is half Indian and half Scottish, I believe. And then Lorde is half Croatian and half Irish. Please correct me in the comments. But yeah, the comparison ends there. Charli herself says it, and I agree. Their music couldn't be more different. They both make what I would consider alternative pop, but they are in two different lanes. I mean, look at these two videos. Completely different vibes. Anyway, I'm glad she got her wish, which is making music with Lorde, finally, in the remix of this song. And this really goes to show you that you could be in your head about someone not liking you, and that person isn't really even worried about you because they have your own issues, as Lorde mentions in the song. She sings, well, honestly, I was speechless when I woke up to your voice note. You told me how you'd been feeling, let's work it out on the remix. You would always say let's go up, but then I'd cancel last minute. I was so lost in my head and scared to be in your pictures because for the last couple of years I've been at war with my body. I tried to starve myself thinner and then I gained all the weight back. I was trapped in the hatred and your life seemed so awesome. I think about it all the time. Sounds like Charli's thinking about motherhood, which again isn't surprising. She's 31, which is still young, and people around her are getting married and having babies. This is another song that is so real. I have been thinking about marriage and motherhood a lot for the last 2 years, like non-stop. But this economy is very discouraging. Charli also brings up her career again and how it feels small, i.e. not commercial. And again, her feelings are valid, but I would say she's doing mighty fine. I might say something stupid. She talks about feeling alone in a crowd, fading into the background. Used to live just for the party, door is open, I'm famous but not quite, but I'm perfect for the background. 1 foot in a normal life. I go so cold, and I don't know if I belong here anymore. She's very self-aware. She's a pop star, but she's also giving girl next door, chill, homegirl bestie. 2024 is truly the year of truth, as Cat Williams said. Everyone is spilling their guts on their albums and online. Risa Tisa, hello? Letting it all hang out. From Taylor to Ariana to Billy to Charli. And I'm seated with popcorn. Vulnerable lyrics, in my opinion, doesn't tend to sell that well unless you're Adele. But lately, a switch has happened and I'm here for it. In small doses though. Only in small doses. You already know how I feel about trauma dumping. And if you don't, please watch this video from April. Shameless plug. I give BRAT a solid 8 out of 10. It's honest and there are bangers on it. I've seen videos about how the marketing for the album was genius. I'm sure it was, but I know nothing about that. I just wanted to listen to some hype music on my way to work and Charli delivered. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments if you have listened to the album and what you think of it, and were you a listener of Charli's music prior to BRAT. I'll see you next week for a review of Normani's Dopamine and Camila Cabello's CXOXO. Bye for now.